Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how to make this Cascading Gatefold card. It has a belly band that slips off and it opens up, and the cascading part of the card is on the inside. Okay, see, it's difficult to show you when the camera is above me, but that's the view from the top, which is the way that it is the easiest way for you to understand what this is actually doing. But it really looks lovely sitting on the shelf, and it's got movement. So you could say it's an interactive card, couldn't you? Anyway, I saw a card made by somebody on Pinterest, and I've forgotten who it was. I went on to her blog, but she didn't have a video for it, so I carried on looking and I found a video by Sam Colcott, and that's the one that I had followed, but I've changed one slight bit about the panels and measuring those, but otherwise I think most of the ideas are probably hers. So I'm going to tell you the cardstock pieces that you're going to be needing. The finished card is about 7 inches by 5 inches, and I would probably just pop this in an envelope that's slightly bigger than that, or in a padded envelope for posting. So I'm going to tell you the card pieces that you're going to be needing to start off with. As this is take 2, I've already done the first piece, but what you need is, oh, by the way, the inches, as I say, are suitable for A4 and letter-size cardstock, and I will try and work out the metric for this as well, and they'll all be in the box below. So 3 pieces of Balmy Blue, which all measure 7 inches by 10.5 inches. Okay, so that's those 3 pieces. And then 2 pieces of Designer Series paper, and these should measure 6 7/8 inches by 9 7/8 inches. And the Designer Series paper is from Europeach. What I'm hoping is to have this in some of the panels and that in others, and I think this is the way to do it. Excuse me a moment, I feel I've got a very, very dry mouth. I love drinking water. Okay, so there's 2 pieces there, and then you need 4 panels. These for the inside of the card, and these should measure 2 1/8 inches by 6 3/4 inches. Another 2 panels for the outside, again same DSP and same measurement as that, 2 1/8 by 6 3/4. The belly band is 1 inch by 1 complete length of a sheet of A4 cardstock. I will measure this when I use it to find out whether 11 inches is enough, which is what the length of a letter-size cardstock is. You will also need a piece of basic white, which measures 2 inches by 3/4 of an inch, and that needs to be scored at 1 inch. And you also need another piece of basic white, which measures 3 inches by 3/4 of an inch, and this needs to be scored at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 2 inches, 2.5 inches. And then you need 2 die cuts, Balmy Blue, and these have been cut from the Stitched So Sweetly dies, which are these dies here, and these are the 2 that I'm going to be using. It's the larger 2 out of those 4. And then you need scraps of Whisper White, Balmy Blue and Pear Pizzazz. the Pizzazz is what I've used for leaves. I've got blue and white for the flowers as well, and this is for the sentiments. So there we go, that's all the pieces you need. Now I'm going to start off by scoring these 3 pieces. Obviously I will just pretend to do this one as I've already done it. And I'm using my scoreboard because I just find it a lot quicker. I'll put it over this way. And you need to score at 2.5 inches, 2 3/4 inches, 7 3/4 inches, and 8 inches. Okay, so that's for the main wrap around your card. And then these 2, this is where I went wrong last time. These need to be scored at, I'm going to put that on my thinner one. This is the Take Your Pick tool, which comes with these scoring tools in the end. And you need to score at 2.5 inches, 5 inches, 7.5 inches, and 10 inches. So you should finish up with a little 1/2 inch gap at the end there. I'm going to do the same again. 2.5 inches, 5 inches, 7.5 inches, and 10 inches. Right, I'm going to move that out of the way. I'm going to bring this in, and I'm folding back on that 1/2 inch piece. Then I am going to fold back that 1/2 inch piece. Obviously you need to fold yours at this as well on the 4 fold lines. Now on these 2 pieces you need to mark up here 2 inches. So I've got my ruler, so I can do that here. I've got a nice sharp pencil. There we go, 2 inches. And then 2 inches on this one. Okay, that went up. I really want it to come straight. So what we're going to do now on both pieces, we are going to cut from that 2 inch mark up to this fold line. Okay, right off where it folds there. Don't come down onto this 1/2 inch piece. So let me get my trimmer. Now I'm not going to be able to show you all of this in the screen. Okay, so I'm going to not show you that one because that's obviously quite straightforward, hopefully. I'm going to show you this one. So that is 2 inches down that end. If I swing this round, put it there, and then make sure that I'm in the shot. I think you need to come up a bit more. And okay. So I'm making sure the top end there is in the cutting track, and I'm just bringing that score line into the cutting track as well. That one's moved out a bit. Put that back. That's moved very slightly. That's better. That's good. Okay, now this is very useful for die cutting your flowers if you're going to do blue flowers, or if you're going to do flowers in whatever colour you're using here. Now before I go too much further, let's just make sure that that's better. This is what happened last time. That should be 4.5, and I measured it and it was quite a bit bigger. I won't tell you why, because that just could add to confusion. I don't like when I'm learning things, somebody to say, this is what you should be doing, and then, oh no, give you the measurements, and say, oh no, it shouldn't be those. Then when I try and do it myself, and I think, well, no, she said this, and she also said that, but what was the right one? So I try not to do it myself. Right, okay, so that is in that score line is in the cutting track, and I've got the 2 inches in the cutting track up there. So slice that down. Okay, so that one's no good, and this one is. So let me just pop that down here for a moment. Now what's going to be happening is when we come to adhere this bit into the card, into the wraparound part of the card, it's going to be going in like that. Okay, so you'll have 1/2 inch facing your left hand and 1/2 inch facing your right hand. I tell you that because we're now going to fold this concertina fashion. It may or may not be the right way, but it will be right when we actually come to put everything together. Okay. When you fold this, do make sure that this is all lining up nice and straight, and also remember to remove your pencil marks as well. I tend to always fold mine as Mountain Valley. There we go. And then this one as well. Again, make sure it's really nice and straight. Can't see the pencil mark there. I wonder if it's on the other side. Oh, it looks as if I cut it right off. Okay. Now, when you fold this bit over, okay, your 1/2 inch, fold it over, you can see it from this side. So just snip that little bit off. And on this piece as well. There we go, so we don't need those. Right, now on the middle fold, no, on the second fold, that's what should have told me that I was doing something wrong. Because when I said last time on the false alarm bit, take one, I said the middle one, it didn't sound right. Now, this is 4.5 inches long, so mark at 2.25 inches. So that is 2.25 inches. You want it on your score line. And then this one on 2.25 inches as well. Now you can cut this using your trimmer if you like. All you need to do is where you have your 2 pieces, this is going to be slotting in. So one you need to cut down from the top, the other you need to cut up from the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to do this by hand, and I'm going to cut right in the middle of the score line. Okay, so that's gone a tiny tad over. And a tiny tad over. Now to make sure that you've cut them enough, if you slot the 2 together, and then make sure that these 2 line up to the same height, okay? if you've done it so that this is cut a bit too far, don't worry about it. You must make sure that at least it is far enough. Okay, now the next tricky bit is if we take these two pieces, we need to mark up on the left hand side, mark up 1 7/8 inches. Let me just double check. Not that page. Yep, 1 7/8 inches. Right, here we go. One and 7/8. I assume that's eighths. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that's eighths. Okay, so I've got my pencil mark, and I'm also going to mark it on here. One and 7/8. Okay, now trimmer again. Now what I'm going to do this time is I am going to cut from the 1 7/8 inches mark right up to this opposite corner. Okay, so let's make sure you can at least see this one. Right, that's in, and that's in. Now when you're doing cutting with your trimmer, don't go straight onto a point like that, because you can ruck it up or scrunch it up. It's probably a better word. Okay, so we're going to slide that. And I am going to do the same with this one. That's my pencil mark, and I'm going to cut to here. So that one's in the groove. That's nicely into there. Bring it down a bit. Yes, come over slightly. That's good. Yes. So again, I'm going to cut from the top. Now, we need these to fit onto our panels. Let's put these on here. Okay, so if we imagine that that's going to be adhered into our card, then there's going to be that one, and then that. Okay, so we want them on these panels. We don't need them on the others. I made a mistake with mine, which meant that I have finished up with it on more columns than I need. Right, it's easiest to do this obviously with the straight edge up against the straight edge there, and it doesn't matter whether you start at the narrow end or the wide end. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to double check before I say anything. Right, line this up at 2 3/8 inches and slice. Move this along 1/8 of an inch and slice that off. You might find, because you can't hold this properly, you're relying on that side, cutting left-handed, you might find it easier to put your paper the other side. I'll show you that on the next one. Okay, so that one is going to be going on that one there. See if I can keep it all together. Now the next one is going to be lined out up at 2 3/8 inches. And then when I mean turn it over, if you turn it over like that, line it up here at 1/8 and then slice that off. Okay, then turn it back that way for cutting. So now this one, we've got this for here, and then for this one we have for this one over here. Okay, let's rest those down there. Which way are we going? That was my cut, that way. So 2 3/8 inches again. And then for this last one, you want your 2 3/8 inches from this piece here, which is the outside edge. Okay, so turn your paper over and then measure that from 2 3/8. You should have 1/8 of an inch to cut off. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Where's 2 3/8? Make sure that's lined up straight down there. Oh, that looks like I've cut off 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so those are 4 that's going to fit on there. And now this one, I'm going to do exactly the same again. So I'm going to line up at 2 3/8 inches. And hopefully that is going to line up on there. And that's going to line up on there. Yay! That's what I wanted. Okay. That's what I've been really trying to achieve, and it has not been working out for me at all. I finished up having a chat with hubby. I said, let me talk this through to you. And as I was talking it through, all of a sudden the penny dropped. So there's that one. Turn it back over. 2 3/8 inches. Turn it over to cut off the 1/8. And if you saw my video 394, in it I said, as I was adhering these pieces onto my card, I said these are getting shorter and I don't understand why. But when I was working on this, I realised why, and that is because I just sliced them all. I didn't take this 1/8 of an inch out, which seems to have sorted out the problem. I can't say that I understand the science behind that, but it is what it is. Right, now that is like that, and I'm going to, this isn't the easiest way of doing this, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark these. Okay, these are all my front facing panels. These are all the panels that I want to have a piece of DSP to. Rather than having to work with it attached like this, even whether it was in the card or not. Okay, so the other thing we've got to remember is which patterns. Mind you, I think only one piece will work, won't it? Let's have a look. Now I'm going to get all my designs together. Now that I know is wrong. So that one's got to be right. And then Is that one right, or the next one? This is why it gets confusing, because it changes when you've got the other piece in there. I think really maybe I ought to do it in here. In fact, let me do it with this stuck in here, and then you can see whether the way I've done my zeros is correct. In which case, if I have done it correct, then you know you're okay to go ahead with it. There we go. Let's do it like this. Okay, so these two are the front, my two small ones. That's right, we said that that one would go there, and we said the small blue one would go there. That's good, okay. I'm going to use Tombow. You can use not snail, oh, what do we call it? You can tell I don't use it. Right, that's very difficult to see, blue on blue. If I go like that, that's better, I can see my little gap then. That's it. You know, that's actually bugging me. I don't think I've got one at all, have I? Oh, Stampin seal. I knew it was an animal. Right, okay, there's that one. So now I'm going to do this one. So the secret of getting these panels right was to do one sheet with the correct design facing up and one sheet with the design that you want facing down, because it was my blue dotted ones that I had, not dotted, striped ones is the one I had facing down. And it's turned out that it's correct. So I'm really quite chuffed about that. Okay, so there's that one. Now that one's got to go over there. So it's got to be a blue one this side, not that one. Where's the other blue one gone? Oh, come on, you can't disappear. Did you see where that disappeared to? Well, it's not you, is it? Oh, that's why. That's you. And that's you. It's because the two designs are so alike. Not long to go now before the new catalogue goes live. It's on the 2nd of May and today is actually the 2nd of April. Amazing. I just don't know where the time goes. There we go, that's that. Slot that one in. The reason I've made this, or at least decided to finish up making a card like this, is because one of my viewers, she watched video 394, which was my Cascading card, and she asked if it could be made as an A2 card. Well, I tried it for the A6 for us, for A4 cardstock users. Sorry, I didn't say that. For A4 cardstock users. And I managed to do it. Although I can't say I really liked the size of it. But I persevered, and I found that with the letter size card, I was finishing up having to use 1/16 of inches, and then when it came to try and find half of 1/16 of inches, it just wasn't working out. There we go, look. Isn't that lovely? I'm really so pleased with this. What do we want on this one? We need the stripes, so it's got to be this one. Yep. Obviously I'm not worrying about erasing those zeros that I put on there. So each of these that I'm doing, I am putting them on the pages that I've got the zeros on. So what I showed you right at the beginning about where I assembled it and then did the zeros on all the ones that faced the front, that does work. Right, now that one goes in there, so that's going to be this one. Okay. Thing is, once you've got the O's on it, it's nice and easy to be able to just turn the card over without worrying about making sure it stays hooked together like that. So that's over on this side. The dies that I used for the flowers on the first card, the Highland Heather card, they will be retiring on the 2nd of May, and they are the kind of thing that I will, well, I'm definitely keeping them, and don't be surprised if you see I use them frequently on my prototype cards. I think the dies are absolutely beautiful, and I'm not happy that they're retiring. I know that we wouldn't have all the nice new stuff if they didn't retire some things, but I just wish I'd chosen something else. I really just really like these. As you know, I've used them on so many of my projects. Although I have got a different flower to use for this card. You might be pleased to know. There we go. Where are you? Come round this way. There we go. Well, I'm very happy with that. Really very happy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate them, and I'm just going to go over them all with my bone folder, because obviously some of these were cut from the reverse side. I've used my bone folder, I know I have. It's out here somewhere. Oh, come on. Oh, there it is. Right under my nose. Okay, let's pop that away. So really it's just the blue stripy ones that was cut from the back. Okay, you're alright. I bet I can see another pencil mark there. Let's get rid of that one. And this one here. So now we just need to decorate the card and get this bit adhered inside the card. So how did I decide to do this? I think I decided that I was going to adhere one bit at a time and then hook them together. Okay, so if you take this, and this needs to be adhered in the centre there, so that that comes over there. And what I have found is that this edge just comes on top of that score line there. And to double check that, if you've got both your pieces like this, don't worry that it's folded the wrong way for the moment. Okay, so if you line those up so they're sitting next to each other nice and tight, and then see how they are there, they are definitely just about on top. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm taking my first one, and you've got to make sure that you've got the left hand side, make sure your 1/2 inch is facing the left hand side. And then we will be able to hook the two pieces together separately. Now you could decide that you'd rather do the decorating with your cards separated. I definitely prefer to put them together for that stage, because you get to see exactly what it is looking like, whether it's looking like what you want it to look like. Okay, so it's a little bit of a faff doing this, but you will find your way. This will come to the top of that sheet, that part of the card, and this piece will come to the bottom part here. So I'm going to line this up just onto that line, making sure that that's down, making sure that's straight, and then just tucking it under. Okay, just give that a good rub, give it a chance for Tombow to do its job. Okay, you always give it an extra helping hand if you want. Okay, so the next one, we put our glue along here. This one's a lot easier than the first one, because you know it's got to line up against the first one in there. There we go. It's just a little bit fiddly because you've got all the other layers there. There we go, just slide it right together as tight as it will go, all the way down. Just push, push, push. And there we go, that's on the score line there. Okay, now it's easy to slot these two pieces together. Okay, just familiarise yourself with what is where. So I've got the top one there. I've got glue on my fingers, and then this one, and it's quite easy to carefully bend them and just hook one over the other. There we go. So there's that, and now there's that. Oh, I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so let's get the rest of the decorating done with our columns first. Sorry, our panels. Right, so I'm going to do my two outside panels for my front first. I did think about using this other side, but then I decided I couldn't decide what colour to do my flowers and what colour to use as the card base. As you see, I gave in the end, went for the blue. Now with my design, it doesn't matter which way it goes, but if you've got a directional pattern, make sure that you're sticking this on the right way. There we go. and then the other one. And pop this one in. I've enjoyed using this designer series paper. I think the designs have been really lovely, and I love that they've taken they put the blue with it as well. I would never have thought about doing that, but then I'm not a designer. I did think about using this as a design in here, but I thought it'd be just too heavy, wouldn't it? Yeah, definitely too heavy. I think the colour of the peaches is too bright. But I have made some little flowers that I might adhere down this end column. So the first two are going to go on these outside panels. There was another design in this pack, and it was a white background, and it had some funny like flower type things, which was lovely. I loved that design, and that would have been great for this bit, but because I like it so much, I've used it all. I think when you're doing designer series paper onto cardstock, if you're going like colours, same colours like I am here, it really does need to have a bit of white in there to break it up. But this is working fine, I'm happy. Right, now we've got to get panels in here. Okay, so this is where you cut off that little bit of a triangle. So we'll be covering up most of that. Okay, so just pop this over that edge. Just make sure you line it up with that. And then it really does minimise that little column. There's the last one here. Right, now the two pieces I gave you here, I'm going to use one of them at the moment. And we're going to use one that's 2 inches and it's got that little fold in it. Now we are going to put that behind these two to stop these flapping open. I mean, you could leave that open if you wanted to, but I don't want to because this is where the cut is. I'm not sure that it would be, well, I think this stabilises it a bit better, let's put it like that. So I've just put Tombow all over. And then pop this blue face up, and with the crease line on that fold line there, and then pop that on top, and then pop that one on top as well. Okay, that's that one. I'll show you what the other one is for when we come to that. Okay, so this is our card almost done now. I'm going to do the 2 sentiments because that will help me, then I can show you what the other bit was for. Let's have a scrap. I want this. There are two sentiments I'm using. One is from Handsomely Suited, and I'm using the A Happy Birthday to You. This set is retiring on the 2nd of May, so if that's one you've had your eye on, I would get that before it sells out. And the Pansy Patch, I'm using Wishing You a Little Extra Happiness Just Because You're You. That's the one I'm putting on the front. Now, what colour do I want to use? I wonder if Balmy Blue will be dark enough. Let's have a look. Oh, it looks a bit dry, doesn't it? Let's just give this a try first. I might just go for Night of Navy or Misty Moonlight or something. Let me just see what this is like. Oh, goodness me. Yes, let's try something a bit darker. I think I will try the Misty Moonlight. That looks a bit more juicy. Oh, that's better. Yep, that'll be okay with that. Okay, so I'm going to do this one because I need to die cut both of these. Just give that a few seconds for the paint to transfer from the stamp onto my paper. It didn't transfer very well, did it? Didn't even touch there. I think I'll leave this out to re-ink it together with the Balmy Blue. Let's turn that over. It's going to be glued down so nobody will be able to see the back of it. Right, that was there, wasn't it? By the two P's. Oh, that's better. Okay, so that's that one. And there's this one. Don't press too hard, and don't wobble. Oh, lovely. Oh, that's come out really well. Very pleased about that. Right, so now I'm going to get my big shot over. Move that. Right, I actually need that one and I need that one as well. The two that I showed you were the two for the two layers, which was numbers 3 and 4, but for the sentiments I need numbers 2 and 3. In fact, let me turn this sideways a bit so that I can try and get these straight. Oh, that's no good. The handle's not going to turn because of the tripod. But that's this one here. I know the W and the A. I'll buy the edge there, and that should miss that. That's good. And B and Y should be the point. Okay, let me just have a quick look. Yes, I think they look straight. Here we go. Getting a little bit paranoid about my dies because the other day when I was die cutting one of these, I put the die in upside down, so all it did was made an impression. I wasn't sure whether I'd be able to get it back on again in the same position, but I did. Right, now I can go over there. Let's bring these here. That's good. And that's good. Let's put that one there. Okay. Right, let's do the belly band. That's my piece. Now on this one, I actually put some of the Designer Series paper from the inside on there because there wasn't any colour and I wanted to introduce a bit in the flowers, and I thought it might have looked a bit odd without having something in there that's got red on it. But this one I'm just going to use the blue. Right, so what you need to do is just put this underneath and fold this up and over. Fold this up and over. Right, I'm just going to do a pencil mark here to see what the length is. I think this is going to be 11 inches. Yes. Okay. I'm only actually using 10.5 inches, so if you use letter size, you're fine. So once you've done that and you've like squeezed, make the fold like a proper fold and then use your bone folder. It just helps to make it look a bit more professional. Is that a pencil mark there? Oh, I don't know what that was for then. Oh, that was, no, yes it was. That's what I just did, wasn't it? Okay. I'm going to fold these two over. And fold this one over. I'm going to put this in again. And I am going to see, they're almost identical. I was just looking to see where that actually comes, and they look about the same. So I'm going to hold that one down because I'm right-handed, but it really doesn't matter which one you do. Just going to put a little bit of glue there and a little bit of glue on the end. Okay, not too tight, but this is a good thing about what's inside. It pops up a bit, so it makes this pop up, which is good. Now my two pieces that I have here, right, this one's going to go onto here. Ooh. Right, that's the one that I wasn't happy with. And that's going to sit in there. And then this one, this is the one that's going to be going on the inside of the card. It's nice to have layers that are a bit different, don't you think? Okay, so that's those. Now we still need the glue. Now on the front I am going to use the big one, and I am just going to be gluing that down. I've got some flowers I hope I'm going to stick on the side there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue behind here, and it's going to go from that curve to that curve. Just keep them in straight lines. If you like to pop things up on dimensionals, obviously you can do. There we go. Make sure you're putting it in up the right way. Yep. And I'm just trying to make sure that this is halfway down here. Okay. Now, to pop this one up, if you just popped it on like that, then it would stop this from opening. So what you need is that other little piece that you had. Okay. So you've scored this, it's 3 inches by 3/4 of an inch, and you've scored it at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 2 inch, 2.5 inches. So if you fold these, concertina file or mountain valley, so that you finish up with that shape. Okay. And then we're going to put glue on these two where my index fingers are, and we put that crease there over that crease. So whatever we put on here, like this, it's going to move with it. Right, let me show you that. Okay, so as long as that goes on and you've got the fold bit, the gap, it goes over the gap here. So it allows room for this to move. Okay, if I stand that up, you might get a better view of it, or maybe not. Okay. So now to pop this on, just put glue onto this bit. If you want to put something a lot bigger on here, then you would need to make this piece bigger, but remember that you've got 1/2 inch, these little supports, the legs if you like, they're 1/2 inch wide each of them. I don't know how far you could go without it becoming wobbly or something. Right, now I'm going to pop this up a bit. Okay, so the blue line is coming down into that right angle there. Okay. There we go. Right, so now the decorating part. These are what I've done. Okay, so I've got flowers where they've got blue underneath and white on top. White underneath, blue on top. White on top, blue underneath. And blue on top with white underneath. I've got the leaves. These are from the pierced blooms, which will be retiring. But these all here are from Summer Shadows. Okay, so I've used that and that, that and that, those two and that. So let's see how we get on using these. without having tried using these before, what I'm thinking is if I take the little ones like that and a little blue one like that, then I could have, say, 3 down here, and then on here I'm going to do similar to what I did with the other ones, which was I think I'm going to, shall I mix these? Well, let's try one first of all. I'm going to have that, I'm going to put that on there. So I just need some glue on the bottom part of both of those leaves. That wasn't too clever, but that's all right. So I'm going to just put it from there to there. So it's the top 2 petals I'm not going to glue. There's those 2 there. Those 2 I didn't glue. That's okay, the leaf can come out. And we'll have another one of those. Let's see if we can get the leaves standing out a bit more. Doesn't leave too much room, does it, for glue? Let's see what we can do. I'm going to put it round there. Let's put some glue there. That's better if I put it down there. That's more like it. Much, much better. Okay, so I'm going to pop that up like that. So again, that's those top 2 petals. It's the bottom 3 that I'm going to do. And I'll have another one up there. Shall I change it over to one of these? Right, I know I want 2 of these for the front. I think I want the white ones first. Or do I want the blue ones? With a bit of greenery. Oh, I think I'll have the blue. Okay, so I want that and 2 of those for the front. Okay, so that leaves me one of these, which could go there. I don't think I want them colliding with each other, actually. I put one, alternate them like that. Yep, that looks like a plan to me. Alright, so right, just on the lowest bit of these. It might help if I paid attention to which bit of the leaves I did the measuring by, so that I could actually use the Oh no, I can't do that, can I? Because that's going to come up too high. I can't make it come over there. Let's use this one down here, and I'll think about that. Okay. So that's good, I'm happy. I want one there, don't I? We're going to do this one, but what will we do with leaves? Just have to hide most of it. Yeah, that's okay, we can do that, can't we? Okay, so that's most of that one. There we go. So that's underneath that one and underneath there. As long as those top two petals that don't get glue on them. There we go. Well, that looks good, I'm happy with that. So, do we need some of these? I don't know that we do. The jury's out on that, I don't know. If I do decide, you'll see them on my blog when the video goes live tomorrow, which will be the 3rd of April. Let me see if you can see this. Okay. Let me know what you think about anything down the panel there. Right, let me do this because I know that I do want flowers on the front. Oops, knocking something off. It's quite easy to actually bend this to get it to go into the belly band if you need to. Now, did I say... No, that's what I said because I put them on one side, didn't I? I said I wanted those like that. Yeah, that's good, I like that. Definitely like that. Not sure how the leaves should be going. There we go, like that. Just do that one, a little bit of that. There we go. And then this one. And there we go. That's today's project. I have to say, I really am quite pleased with these flowers. Not sure what to do about the inside, but I will have a look at it when I start photographing, and that's normally when I'm able to tell whether it needs something extra or not. But I'd be very interested to know what you think. So any comments in the box, please. So many thanks for joining me today. Let's bring that one over for you. I will put all the measurements in the box below, and also all the ingredients that I've used for this card. I'll put the ingredients that I've used for this one on my blog the day this goes live, which will be the 3rd of April 2022. And each product will have a link that will take you to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. If you do shop with me, first of all, thank you very much. And this is assuming you don't already have a demonstrator that you shop with. If you use the HOSTESS code, then when I send you Happy Mail at the beginning of May, I can also send you some free product as well, which makes me happy, and it makes you happy too, hopefully. So many thanks for joining me today. Oh, and by the way, please subscribe to my channel by clicking on the button there, and then click the bell so that you get the notifications each time I upload a new video. Many thanks for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again next week. In the meantime, please take care, stay safe, and of course, happy crafting. Cheerio.